All right, we are here for another episode of Wake Up Call, the podcast. I'm your host, Christina Previtt, and joining me today is Chad Scott. He is creator of How to Stop Negotiating with a Terrorist, Toxic Relationship Workshop, and you are an accountability partner and a certified life and relationship coach. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. And why do you suppose I'm laughing when I say creator of How to Stop Negotiating with a Terrorist? You were laughing too, though.
Not because that's why I named that workshop that, right? It gave you that kind of look like, what is he talking about? What is this about? Because I looked at it from like all these movies, right? They always say, we know not negotiate with terrorists. I'm like, you know what? When it comes to relationship, a lot of times people do try to negotiate with people and it could be terrorists. So that's why I make it like, yeah, it could be.
It could be. Well, actually, my business partner's daughter, who's my goddaughter, I'm always proud to tell people that, she's 8. And I remember when she was really small, like 3, 4, he would say it was like negotiating with a terrorist. And I didn't really understand what he meant until I actually started babysitting her. Because it was true. It was like she'd ask for these off the wall things and she would just try to negotiate in a way that made no sense, but it was the only thing that worked. You had to speak her language. So we're not here to talk about communicating with toddlers, though. We're here to talk about communicating with grownups. So can you just tell me, like, why are you the guy that's qualified to do this? Like, what's happened in your life that qualifies you for this?
Yeah. So what happened, I always, for some reason, been the go-to guy when it comes to relationships. Even as a kid, I was always the person trying to figure this out, help people navigate the dating scene. So I was like, I didn't want to be that guy. Like, I was like, you know what? Some reason that's a talent I have. I think I have. So what ended up happening was once I started going in college, is when it started getting serious. When I started honing the skills, so to speak. And then from there was when I got the first woman that took my advice, got married. And I just thought it went off. I ain't think nothing of it. But she was like, Chad, if it wasn't for you, I never got married. I said, oh, okay.
Do you remember what advice you gave her?
Getting out her own way. I remember that one. Because she really liked him, but she was nervous. And I'm like, listen, I understand it may be a trust issue, but give it time. Like, it's college. Like, enjoy it and just see if you like this person. And then she hit me up every day about something. Chad, what about this? I'm like, relax. She just trust the process. I think people don't understand when it comes to dating, no matter how old you are, is trusting the process.
Well, women do that a lot, don't they? Like, don't women just have this tendency to get in their own heads and overanalyze everything?
Yes. So that's why the first thing when it comes to even back then until now I became certified, the first thing I see where they're at self-esteem wise. I try to see where they at self-esteem because I feel like the more you love yourself, the more you be able to navigate and don't deal with some things that don't make sense. But they get in their own script in their head. That's why one of the things I always tell women is really listen when you talk to a man. A lot of times guys telling themselves all the time, but y'all got the script in your head, and y'all don't want to take heed to what the person's saying. So that's why I always be like, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, like listen to them.
Yeah. But you have a script in your head. You're like, just follow the script. You're my husband. Just follow the script.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can only speak as a woman for obvious reasons, but you can maybe speak on behalf of the men. But what I've observed with my single girlfriends, and I know I did this myself when I was single, is you would just overanalyze like, oh, he didn't call. Why didn't he call? Oh my gosh, was it something I said? Oh, maybe it was the way I ate my wings. Maybe he didn't like the way I ate my wings. Like it was pretty gnarly. Maybe I shouldn't do that. And they just go off. That's it. They're off running. Or, why did he say he was going to call me at 4, but he called me at 5? That must mean something. And I might be exaggerating only slightly.
No, the conversation I have, you are correct.
They do, right?
Very like, what's happening right now? But they overanalyze it almost like doing an interview, right? They like, I want to make sure I do the best, that answer the question right. Is he going to like me? But it's just like an interview. Yes, I may want the job, but I also want to know if I like you too. And be compatible. But yeah, people get caught up in, that kind of, do you like me? That did this right? That did this right? 'Cause I don't want to, rock the boat, so to speak.
Well, my question is, do men do that too?
Yeah, I think initially we do want to see, we don't OD in a sense. Like, we don't go too psycho, but the first date we are nervous.
Are you calling women psycho, Chad?
No, I said psycho tendencies.
Psychotic tendencies. I like that better. That's much better than just being flat out psychotic. Yeah, I always wondered, I never thought guys were putting as much thought into all of that as women do. What the hell? Like, why do we do that? Why are women doing that?
Because the pressure, right? The pressure of being chosen, the pressure that they may feel like they at a certain point in their life where they want to get married and they want to move on to stage. Because some people hate dating stage. They want to move on to their guy. So they want to make sure they make the best foot forward.
Well, the only way to ever get to that point in a relationship where it's really comfortable because you've known each other a long time and you have a history and you just really know each other, you can't rush that. The only thing that gets you there is time. No matter how many dates you've been on.
Yeah, and that's why it's always a great opportunity to get to know the person. But like I said, sometimes women have a script in their head. You're the guy, and they're going to try to fast forward this as much as possible and try to make sure this works. Like, no, let's give some time, give some grace, and date.
Yeah. So I have this other podcast called Shit Talking that I do with my good friend Robin Ross. And one of the topics, one episode, was how early you should make it clear to somebody that, I want to get married and have kids. So if you don't want to do that, then this is just a big old waste of time. She kind of suggested like maybe the first date was a good time to do that. And I was like, no, never. Do not. You will scare him away. And so we had a lively debate about this. And I'm wondering what you think.
I think sooner the better to have the conversation.
Like first date?
Because it's intent, right? So most of the time, the first date, people are like, oh, you're so beautiful. Why are you single?
Yes.
That's the opening to have that conversation, right? Like, right now, I want to casual. I want to date with intent. I'm not really a fan of casual sex. Like, you start knocking those things out when it's not very confrontational, but there's a conversation here. So therefore, they know and you know, and then now you can see how does it progress. But if they run away, then that's not what they're here for anyway. Yeah,
well, Robin would absolutely agree with you. So she is going to be happy to hear this because my attitude was, why on earth do you need to talk about that on the first date? Like, you don't even know if you both like the same food or if you both like to drink wine or coffee or whatever. Like, there's so many basic things that, in my opinion, are probably going to end things long before any conversation about whether someone wants to get married.
No, but like I said, it's one thing. It's you don't have to sit on it all day, but you would like, listen, I'm single, but I would like to be married one day and move on to the next topic.
Okay.
So we can talk about favorite colors and, what I'm saying, or you're a vegan. We could do that conversation as well, but it just planting the seed, basically.
Yeah, so I get your point. And Robin's too. If basically you know that you are not dating to find a wife or, you don't want children, then that's not a good fit. You would be wasting your time.
Yeah, so if you want to date with intent, like you want to be in a relationship, and the guy's saying he's just going with the flow right now, or he's just hanging out right now, But
don't men always say that? Like, are there a lot of men out there hot to trot to find a wife? I just don't think there are.
No, but it's also about the intent. So we had the conversation, right? You said, listen, I don't want to do any casual sex, or I'm just trying to date right now. The guy be like, yeah, all right, I understand. It may grow into a relationship. Now you have to wait and see action-wise. How's he maneuvering it? And then from there, you can see if it's something that you're dating with purpose or he just having fun and you just standing there waiting for him to pick you.
Yeah. Nobody wants to be the one standing there waiting to get picked. That's horrible.
That's why I say, I always talk about consistency is actually greater than words. So we had the words. Now let's see the follow through for his action, and is it consistent? So you understand the person's character and see if you're on the same page.
Yeah.
But some people stay too long.
Are they following through and doing the things that they say they're going to do? Or my personal favorite is you go on a date, maybe you go on a couple dates, and then they just ghost you. They just disappear for a month. And then all of a sudden you get some random text one night. Hi. That's it. It'll just say, hi. You're like, what is going on? What do you think about that? Can you translate that?
So times what guys do when they go ghost and they come back is check the temperature to see if you still have access. Is this gone? Or can I be like, yo, sorry, life was crazy. Work was busy, but I ain't forget about you. And sometimes that happens when a woman posts a picture on Instagram. So almost like outside of the mind, like, oh yeah, I forgot about her. Hey, big head. Hey, stranger.
Well, if you forgot about her, then you weren't really that into her.
Yeah, but now you post a picture, you remind me now. Let me circle back.
Well, do you think that we should even wait as women? Do you think we should waste our time with people like that? I mean, they can't be very serious if they, had to circle back. What do you think?
Nah, I think that right? So that's what I said. Consistency. If they inconsistent, then you already know what it is. They just trying to have fun right now, or trying to see they still got it, or can still persuade you. That's why I always about me being a relationship life coach. I focus on accountability, control the controllable. All we can do is control what we can control. So we have to make an executive decision like, all right, this person's playing games. Let me just cut them off because I shouldn't give them access to me.
Yeah. I kind of feel like people's actions will tell you anything you want to know. So,
but,
yeah.
Like you said, people want to get chosen so bad, or they want to give, I would say, potential of an expiration date. They're like, you know what? He did hit me back. He must like something about me. He probably liked it. He can still hit you up when he hit you up randomly.
Yeah. Well, we won't dig deeper into that, but like that, if that's a booty call situation, then you know what they like about you.
Yeah. But in their mind, like, maybe I'm showing something. I'm like, no, like, you have access to you.
Do you think that booty call situations ever turn into relationship material?
I heard it happen before, but I just think that a lot of women may not be built for it. So it's one of the things where if you want a woman where you're using sex to bait your heart into it, that's not a good recipe. And some women are built for it. Even your own body go against you when it comes to having sex with certain partners and stuff like that. So you gotta really be conscious. If you're not built for it, casual sex, don't try it. I think that could be the way to show him you're not a prude that I'm down. If you're not built for it, don't do it.
Yeah, but see, I guess the message is for women. If you think that if that's what you have to do to get their attention, that's probably not going to turn into, well, unless you just want a booty call. But if you are looking for more like a relationship and, something more solid.
Yeah, that's what it said. If it's just sex, then you know it's just sex. But if you had to, once again, accountability, you really got to take a step back and realize, all right, you only hit me up at 2:00 in the morning.
Yes.
He asked me on a date. We only went on one date. And ever since then, when we went out for drinks one time, he's not pursuing me in that way. I may like these moments, but it's a Band-Aid. You already know his intent.
Yeah. So then what do you think about people who say this? Well, this guy isn't really what I want, but there's nothing else around right now. So I'm just going to kill time with him. What do you think about that?
A lot of times women block their blessings with that, right? Because a lot of women don't have the bandwidth maybe to multiple date. So this one guy, they're like, yeah, he scratched the itch when I need it. He's there if I need something. Cool, but no longevity. But you stay there and you don't want to date anybody else. Like, I'm gonna go back to him. He know what I like. I don't have time to teach anybody, or you know what I'm saying. So that's why I talk about like a lot about self-esteem. It's like you have to be honest with yourself. But like, let's break this because you staying there and blocking your blessings.
Yeah, I like that expression, blocking your blessings.
Yeah,
I like that.
Because you want a relationship, but you want to keep this person for now. That's cool, but a lot of time when I tell women all the time, like, why is he here? They're like, yeah, Jack, because I know we for so long, and just feel like we just know each other, and maybe one day it could be something more, but I'm not stressing it. I'm like, you've been doing it for a year now, 2 years now. Like,
yeah. Well, I always tell people, my single friends, I tell them that, if you're spending time with that guy and that that's not going anywhere for whatever reason, you're not spending time on finding someone else.
People comfortable and people scared of the unknown.
Yeah.
So they're like, I got to start from zero? Oh, no. Like, so they already have that emergency, dude in the glass, just break for emergencies instead of really going out and really date with intent and really, cut them off.
So what do you think about the opposite though? What about the women that get all in their head about, well, I don't know, how many dates do I have to wait to have sex because I don't want him to think I'm slutty. I don't want to, like, they act like they're going to ruin something really awesome if they have sex too soon. And there's a saying that Steve Harvey says that I love. Mm-hmm. He says, you cannot scare love away.
Yeah. Because I think what happens is women try to think about, as a man, Is he gonna think I'm too easy? If he's gonna respect me, if I have sex with him too soon or too late, let him earn it. But if a guy could wait 3 months, 6 months, have sex with you and still change up, like but you just gotta be careful and understand that maybe sometimes you gotta do that and see what. All right, we had sex. Now what?
Yeah,
it's definitely a thing that women feel like, I don't know, try to keep their numbers low or not, but they get really nervous about that kind of concept.
Numbers low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I have sex with him, how will he make me feel? How you feel about that? That's why I always say I focus on when dealing with women and dating relationships. I see where they at self-esteem wise.
How do you test that?
Have a conversation, right? So it's basically what I tested is how they feel about themselves, right? And it's like, how do they love themselves? And in that conversation, it's just basically just talking to them about the experience of dating, why they put up what they put up with, what they're scared of. Like, I don't want to be alone, or I'm trying to beat the clock. I want to have a kid. Like, whatever that thing is, let's talk about that. And then that's why I get a little engagement where, all right, before we talk about love, so everybody like, Chad, I want to get a ring. I'm like, anybody get a ring, like get a record deal. You want to be with a relationship that makes sense. So you want a ring, that's one thing, but you want to be with somebody you're compatible with. So let's figure out how you love yourself. Like, what is your love language? How do you show it on yourself? How do you, your short-term goals, your long-term goals, how are you doing those things? That helps build momentum. But a lot of times people want that instant gratification.
Well, do you ever get into like how their parents showed love for each other and what their family background was? Because I always find that has a lot to do with it.
It does. And that's why even with love languages, if you've never been, someone ever said they're proud of you, you go with that, need that be the love language, word of affirmation. But I always tell people, be careful word of affirmation, because once again, it got to be backed by action and some type of consistency. You definitely got to have to ask what the conversation is about, like where this coming from, where this stemming from, and then from there you can navigate that. But yeah, it's definitely your childhood, definitely, a nature versus nurture kind of thing, where you definitely want to see, who are you now? Are you comfortable with your own skin? And now you loving yourself, you understand your boundaries and what you're looking for in a partner, in a mate. But if you're just looking at it for just to have somebody or someone to validate you, you're not really being compatible with that person. You just want them to fill that hole.
So your program, How to Stop Negotiating with a Terrorist Toxic Relationship Workshop. So first of all, let's break that down. What is a toxic relationship?
So the first thing I talk about in that workshop is the biggest terrorist is yourself, right? So let's figure out, as I say, I always focus on self-esteem. How do you view yourself and love yourself, and almost like look at yourself as a business? And as you do your take inventory, new name, new policy, new slogan, now the people in your life, you got to you have to promote, fire, and demote them, right? In your life as you create the boundaries. So the breakdown of toxic relationships are people that we talk about the toddler, that their acts is crazy, right? You're like, all right, what you asking for is even beyond the scope. Yeah, that's what I want though. And you're like, and then you try to buy into it, you see they got more stuff they want. So terrorist and toxic relationship is when you feel like you in a relationship by yourself, or this person is asking for all these things and not no kind of reciprocal or no kind of bartering or type of negotiations. It's just, my demands are my demands, and you fall into that and don't build a boundary to have the uncomfortable conversation. Now, honesty, they having a blast.
So is this for couples?
This is for anybody, right? So when I started it, what happened was, remember I told you the first story was I got the first ring in college. And I was thinking none of it. So what ended up happening was I started making a thing on social media, even before I became a certified coach, whatever, where every time a woman take my advice, we talk, we build, she get a ring. And only count rings that women say, thank you, Chad, you gave it to me. So once I got a 10th ring, people like, yo, you got to do a workshop. And I was like, I'm good. I'm managing talent. I'm doing other things. Like, no, Chad. 10 rings? I said, you know what? I'm going to do a workshop. So what I did was, this workshop is basically the conversation I have with all these women. I just created a workshop of basically the common breakdown I normally do. And now we have 21 rings.
Wow.
So for me, it's like, all right, now let me come outside more. You know what I'm saying? And be more, I be behind the scenes. So yeah, so the workshop basically, once again, I talk about loving yourself, looking at yourself as a business, and also be okay with being quote unquote the bad guy, and how to navigate the dating scene. Because when people come to me crazy, like, I want to ring too, Chad. I'm like, let's start with you first.
They just want the ring.
Yeah, and that's why I'm very big on telling women that, do you want the wedding or you want the marriage? Because we have to have that conversation. If you just want the ring, okay, but understand the marriage that comes with it. And are you ready for that? And getting ready for that marriage. You just focus on the ring. All right, like I said, anybody get married and get a ring. But you want to be with someone that's happy. So out of the 21 rings, there's only one divorce so far.
Oh, good. Yeah. Because I'm a divorce lawyer. So,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Listen.
I see what happens afterwards.
Yes. That's what I said. It's like, you got to understand that being compatible with a person and understand that relationship, people change. And if you're not tuning in with your partner throughout the growth, you may grow apart. But as I said, as you being a divorce lawyer, I know you have to, as I tell people all the time, love isn't enough. Yeah. So you see, so I know you see so many clients where they love each other, but now the damage is so much they can't even be married together.
Yeah, well, sometimes their lives just go in completely different directions, and I don't know that there's always a way to predict that.
Nah, I think that I'll tell people all the time. Like every time I go to a wedding, the advice that some weddings like write a nice little note in the card, and I always say, don't forget date night.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Because life happens. Yes, life happens, and it don't have to be once a week, but at least once a month where you just check in.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think just because they live together and they're always together that's quality time. It's not. Doing the dishes and laundry is not quality time.
Yeah. Like, I'm home. I'm right here. What do you want? You know what I'm saying? But no, we really have to engage, whether it's date night or make that conscious effort of being together, not just sex, but let's really talk and check in. I think that people don't get check in, and then what happens to drift apart to a point where you have two shifts in the night.
Yeah.
The kids. So yeah, that's what I say. You can't prevent it, but it's great just to have these date nights to still reconnect.
Yeah, I like that. Don't forget date night. I want to talk to you though about like the people that come to this, because you have a YouTube channel.
Yes, I have a YouTube channel. Like I said, now that I'm coming outside, I'm gonna rebrand it, but it's just mostly my clips of the workshop.
Yeah, so the one that I saw, I don't know if this just happened to be at the top of the pile or if it was more recent, but there was one where the men and the women were debating what's nagging.
Yes.
I thought that one was kind of funny, but it was interesting to see. Really, what's that book? Men are from Mars, women are from Venus.
Venus, yeah.
It's so true. It is like we're from different planets sometimes, and it was just. I recommend anybody. We'll put a link to your YouTube channel, but go and watch it, because especially if you're in a relationship, because you will definitely be able to relate to a lot of it. So what was that about? That was recent?
That was recent. So what happened was, that was her concern, right? She was like, listen, Chad, I hear you. I understand, right? But I'm nervous to rock the boat because I don't want to come off as being a nag. Like you said earlier, how some women so overanalyze it that they don't want to have those uncomfortable conversations, so to speak, because they don't want to be viewed or the guy look at it like, oh, you're just too much of a headache. But like I said, even when that conversation is like, what are you asking for? And if you ask that crazy, or he being defensive because you don't want to answer it. So yeah, so I understand women want to, don't want to rock the boat. And I always say, damn that boat. Like, let's really have a real conversation. Now, if they defensive, are you saying, why we ain't seeing each other often? And like, come on, man, no. You're not being nag. You just really ask the question.
Do you get guys that come to you for advice too?
I say the sad thing though, but a lot of guys move like we winning out here, right? So there's so many women that have low self-esteem, and so many women don't create boundaries that guys like, oh, I got this. I don't. Only time is when they really want to be in a serious relationship. That's when they mostly contact me. When they really are, Chad, I really want this woman. I just want to see how can I be better in that. But if a guy's a player and he's just having a blast, he's having a blast. There's no character development in that story.
Well, guys are less likely to ask for help too, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think that once you feel like you really want that woman and you really see that you may be losing her, you would check in with me, right? So, but even the workshop, there's men and women there. Because at the end of the day, there could be women terrorists, there could be men terrorists. So a lot of guys come in and they're more, and sometimes couples come together. Like, they're like, let's just go to the workshop and see what's good. And I'm like, all right. And I like talking to the couple because I look at it more of a conversation. Let's have a conversation. This worked for me, and this is what I help navigate these women getting married, and let's talk about it. So it's not like a lecture in a sense. It's a dialogue. It's just these are the tools that was in place that help these women date correctly and understand boundaries. And biggest terrorist could be someone you dating or a family member. Like I said in my conversation, I always talk about my mother. I'm like, my mother's my biggest terrorist. That I had to create boundaries with her. I had to love her from a distance. So that allowed me, and I think a lot of men I recommend a lot of men advocate for themselves. Because, you always hear the saying, happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
And guys is like, I'm just here. I just pay the bills.
They just
my
give up.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to listen to nagging.
Yeah. They're like, but we should be able to act just like you in a relationship, I'm in a relationship too. And I have wants and needs as well. And we don't advocate ourselves as much. So that's why I said both parties should advocate. So the fact that I can advocate for myself in my relationship with my mother, I can advocate in the romantic sense as well.
So what did you have to do with your mother? Like you just had to establish boundaries?
Yeah, I had to understand that I have to love her from a distance. And it's okay. And it's also, I think that a lot of people get caught up with, quote unquote, being the bad guy. It's not about being the bad guy. You love yourself more. And I understand, blood thicker than water, but it's not thicker than peace of mind.
Why don't we say that people will go as far as you let them?
Yeah.
So if you aren't putting out the boundary, they're not gonna do it.
Yeah, like you always say that even when it comes to borrowing money, right? They're gonna keep on tapping you till you broke. They're like, oh, you got no money, and then walk away. They're not gonna be like, man, I'm asking the phone for a lot of money. Nah, you gotta say no. But
Yeah.
people want to, some people are people pleasers, or they don't want that awkward conversation, or they're like, all right, yes. But it's okay to be like, no, I'm not comfortable with that. I don't know. Not at this time. Yeah.
So what's the terrorist then? Like, how do we define them? Because they're not just in relationships, right? Like romantic relationships.
Well, describing it as far as, this is why it's so important to have the conversation, right? I think in every aspect of relationship, even the dating stage, like you said, you hate the first date, serious conversations, but even in the dating stage, we need to talk about expectations, right? And if they agree with it or they feel like they're not trying to be reasonable with it, then you understand that this person's not a right fit for me. Like every time I date a woman, I let her know that I like to talk on the phone. I say I like to do date night once a week. So I'm creating the expectations. And if you sign on to it, and then if somehow it fall off, is not coming up again, there's accountability conversation now. But then after a while, if you passive aggressive or you blow me off, I have to make an executive decision. I'm being a dead horse. I have the same conversation, the same low frequency. I'm trying to get your phone. I can't get you on the phone. Why we ain't going? I see. Like I have to say, all right, we're just not the right fit.
Yeah, that's gonna be hard. I feel like sometimes people just like, oh, he's cute and he's got a, good. He looks great on paper. I'm gonna make him fit.
Yeah. Listen, they're like, listen, I invested this time and energy. He's the one. He don't know it yet, but I'm gonna power through it. And yeah, but you'll power through all you want. But if you don't really have those real honest conversations about what you're looking for, what you want in a relationship, then you're going to fall flat in your face, or you're going to go to a relationship or a marriage where you're not happy yet.
So what about you though? I mean, do people, they must be curious about your background because you're giving relationship advice, but what about you? Are you married? Like, what's your status?
So that's the first thing people say, right? So normally I go to an event and one of my guy friends or woman friendly, yo, Chad help women get rings. And everybody look around like, look at my hand like, are you married? I'm like, no, you're not married. But you're giving a relationship advice? I said, nah, I got you. I said, I totally understand. I said, but I'm more focused on, you looking at a scoreboard or you focus on me? So at the end of the day, I said, what happened with me, and I think that the issue with, not issue, but as I got more into the relationship coaching world, I started meeting other coaches. And I started meeting, you know how you in the field, you meet more people?
Yeah.
And the more I meet them, I realized that a lot of people are salesmen, right? They sell you the dream. They tell you the action plan, go, go, go. But they don't really live their truth. They don't really live what they walk. So the same reason I tell you about boundaries, the same thing I talk about looking at yourself as a business, having an uncomfortable conversation, vetting people. Because who you decide to marry really dictate is a real portion of your life. You got to take it serious. So you got to respect the dating process in the sense of vetting that person. But for me is that even though I'm single, the same tools I'm looking for, I want forever love. I would never just do it for the gram.
Yeah.
So I tell people what time like this. I totally understand. But I think my insight is for me getting into this field, kind of got forced into it in a sense, but this was part of my natural talent that I always had. So now it's about being accountable and helping people with their goals, whether it's life goals or relationship goals. So I always get that, especially with women. Like, are you married yet? And I talk to them, they be like, all right, you do look like you got something going on. And then when I put the picture of when I put the picture of a ring, that's when it get extra like, hey, Chad, I'm not doubting you. I was condescending when I said you relationship guy, the guru. But now let's talk. I'm like, all right. And they disappear because they don't want to do the work.
Yeah, they just want it easy, right? Like all those Instagram ads going around like make $1 million in 30 days.
Like, give me that $1 million. I'm like, nah, listen, you gotta do the work. And if you don't want to do the work, they're like, Chad, I just want to get a ring. I'm like, all right, cool. Now, conversation I asked about who they dating. Like, what's going on with your dating life? Like you said, I got this guy, we've been dating for 5 years, just messing around. How can I change him now? I'm like, I'm sorry. That's that may not be the thing. You had to walk away. And they're like, I don't like this place.
Yeah, well, there's sort of this joke that you've probably heard it before where men always say like, gosh, I hope she never changes. I hope she stays exactly the way she is now. And the women are like, oh, I'm going to change him. I got plans.
Because some women fall in love with potential. That's why I said potential expiration date. So they're looking at a man and like build a bear. They're like, I'm gonna build a bear. I'm gonna build him. I'm gonna see potential in him. But you gotta also see what is the growth there, and be honest with it. But if you forcing it and you dragging somebody to greatness, it's like, all right, you're just not compatible.
Yeah. So what's your plan? Are you looking for a wife?
Oh, I can't wait to get married.
Oh, so you do want that and kids?
Yeah, like I love love, but I love it more when it makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm an R&B dude. I love love. And this is why even when I got to this field, that this is something I love talking about, because I definitely want to, like I said, if I post, even my ex-girlfriends, I'm all my ex's favorite ex. So I love love, but if it didn't work out, I'm still friends with them. I still want them to win. But yeah, I definitely can't wait. Oh, I'm excited for it.
That's cool. And then like, what kind of relationship did you see growing up? Or are your parents still married?
Yeah, so like I said before, my mother, they had me young, right? They had me when they was 19. And I feel like at that age, it's out of fight or flight. It's either you use that opportunity to grow into something or you stuck at 19. So I saw that, but I always had my grandparents that I always mimic and realize how relationship work. Like, it's like, I see how it works when it makes sense, when you're both understand different people in a sense. Because like, I saw how it could function, the good, the bad, the ugly. And then even for me was during my college days, I had a roommate with a married couple. So that put me in a whole nother spectrum of relationships and love and how that works and the fights they had. And I was like the in-house therapist. Cause I always been this guy, like I always been the person they talk to. So they would throw them out like, Chad, you up? I'm like, yeah, I talked to one side, I talked to the other side. So that gave me whole nother understanding of in the thick of things when it comes to finance, love, sex. Like it was so yeah, that definitely put me in a different kind of mindset. That's why I said I'm never jaded when it comes to love. Like I definitely champion it. I still love it. But I also understand that there's a lot of tough decisions and a lot of conversations that need to happen that people don't want to do.
Yeah.
And they bite you later.
So what are some things that you think people need to talk about before they ever get married?
Expectations, right? You got to talk about what you're looking for. Because my idea of a wife role may not be what you see yourself as. So if I'm like, I want a housewife and you want to be in a career, here's a conversation there. That people don't like rock the boat. It's like, love gonna figure it out. Not like, we love each other. That's all that matters. No, we really have to understand. If I want to stay in the city and you want to move to the suburbs, that's a conversation. And we gotta see outside of spitting us, we being spitting, we definitely have to have those conversations about intent. What we're looking for. What is our future goals? And yes, it could change and we can evolve. This is why it's so important for the check-ins. But we definitely understand what we're looking for. And be honest with it. Because like you said earlier, if you want more kids and I don't want kids, that's a conversation. But people are like, I want to rock the boat. We're going to figure out later. No. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I know people that one of them wants kids, the other doesn't. And I'm kind of like, you guys better figure it out like real soon. What are you doing?
But then, like, then what you said it earlier, that people feel like I'm going to fix them, or they say that now, but when we get married, I'm going to get the kid. And like, he said he didn't want kids. And that's why I said it's very important when it comes to dating, especially with women, is be an active listener. Really listen. You don't have to attack him or try to fill his answers because, you're trying to fill that script you have in your head. Really sit there and go ahead. You can be turned off, but let him talk.
Yeah. Like, what is he actually saying?
But let him talk. Because if you let him talk and you feel comfortable enough, you will know what you need to know. And understand that you may have to take a executive decision and walk away. And I know that sucks.
Yeah.
You invest that time and energy in them.
Yeah, that's the hard part, I think.
Yeah, the walking away sucks because you got to start from scratch. And you're like, nah. So I want, that? I always talk about a slot machine. You put all this time in. And now you don't want to move because you don't want nobody to hit jackpot all the time you invested. You want to reap the benefits. But sometimes it's just not working for you.
So what do you see as patterns with women, like things that they do to kind of sabotage themselves in dating?
Really not establishing what they're looking for, right? Because sometimes if you don't know what you're looking for, you're just all over the place. So if you understand what you're looking for, the character of the man you're looking for, you need to start dating that. So a lot of times, we talk about green flags, yellow flags, red flags, but we definitely need to know, what are we looking for? What do you want? You always see that memes right now in the TikTok. What do you want? I don't know what I want. What characteristics of this man you looking for? What is your vision you have for this man? And have those conversations. Like you said, gotta rock the boat. Damn that boat. We gotta have those real conversations. And people scared because they don't want to feel like, a lot of time when it comes to women, they feel like, I'm not perfect, so I don't want to judge nobody. I want to give them grace. Not about judging, but you definitely know compatible what you're looking for. And that's why mostly women have this conversation with me. I'm like, yo, what are you looking for? Yes, we can talk about the physical stuff. Yes, cool. Now, character, and understand what you're looking for in a character. And so, are you dating men that meet? No, I'm not. I want to date a man who have no kids. I'm like, cool. I said, who you dating now? Yeah, he have 4 kids, but he's great, Chad. He's taking the restaurants. I'm like, I'm sorry.
What, he has 4 kids?
See, so when they feel like they're not perfect, so that's what I said. That's why I always talk about loving yourself, knowing what you're looking for, and be okay with the conversation, and really vet these people and see if you're compatible with it. And you try to force it, you're gonna bite you at the end. Like the thing, so they always say, the things you look for in a relationship that you don't address, it's gonna be time 3 in the marriage. Mm-hmm. So you could still have these conversations and not be so ugly with it, but let's have general, honest, adult conversation. I need to know how you deal with conflict, or how you deal with the uncomfortable conversation, or you're gonna stonewall me, or we're gonna really have some kind of dialogue.
So what about the men? What do they typically complain about? Like, is there a pattern?
A lot of married men come to me now. I think they feel like you the voice, you like, and that's why I always say when I talk to some men, I gotta, and even with anybody else, I gotta see, are you talking to me from trauma lens, or you really want to have a dialogue here, right? So a lot of men come, they feel like they're not really being respected in a relationship. They ain't feeling they being heard or being seen. And then when I say, do you advocate for yourself? I do, Chad, but they don't care. These women do not care about us. I'm like, all right, I understand that, happy wife, happy life, but we definitely need to start having those conversations about your needs and wants, but also understand she may tell you why, right? And are you ready for that? So you can complain all you want, but are you ready that she feel like she needs help in the house because she working, she come home, got to do with the kids, and then you want her to be a really sexy lingerie for you. Maybe if you need help out with the house chores, that give her the kind of bandwidth to now channel that in. And then you may get mad, you get scheduled only Thursdays, it's fun night. Like, you got to find a way to have the conversation and understand it's give or take. So like I said, a lot of men feel like they're not feeling like they're being heard, or their wants and needs is not being met in relationships. But I'm like, yo, you want to have the conversation.
Yeah.
That's maybe comfortable, Like in so many even or dating stage, I think so many card games now, dating card games that can help the so it's not you saying it, it's a card I asked you a question about. You know what I'm saying? So it helps when even the dating stage, but I think these dating card games is a nice tool now to help outside the surface conversation. We could have more in depth.
I don't think I've even seen those. You should make your own cards.
Nah, definitely. I definitely do. But there's one called Convo Cards that is definitely, I think 2 people already got married on them cards. That they got the card, my homegirl got the cards, and they read it and they're like, okay, I never knew. You know what I'm saying? Like it helps with the dating phase, but it also gonna help for date night in relationship.
There's some New York Times article. I think it's kind of old, but it has this list of questions. Can't remember how many were on it. And they said these are the things that you need to talk about before you get married. Does that sound familiar?
It was 50 or the 100.
I don't know. It might have been a lot.
It was a lot though. I remember that it was a lot.
I should look it up now.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that like it don't have to be an interview like go, right? But in general, it just there's some conversation, even with dating, right? There's things in your mind you want to talk to the person about, right? So now it's about how do we make this fun, or how do I just ease this conversation and let it happen? So like I said before, my thing is I like to talk on the phone. So I'm gonna talk to you about phone. And I'm a texter. I don't like talking on the phone. Then I already see, you know what I'm saying? Is this workable? And also, even with me, if this is my wants and needs, I can see how can I better assist you on this to get what I need, right? So for me, one of my exes I used to date, she was like, you a night owl. I go to bed early. I said, okay, got it. So that means that I have to make a conscious effort to call around 7, to call around 8, to get that phone call I need to have. But if I don't get that phone call, you know what I'm saying? If I'm doing everything in my power, once again, controllable. If I can find a way to this is something I want, I'm willing to help. As I said, even a man helping out with house chores to now get the access for her at night to have your one-on-one time, I have to do my part to navigate because this is my want and need. Yeah, so it's definitely a give or take in those kind of worlds, but you definitely have to be mindful, I should say.
Well, I did find the article.
How many questions was it?
There's only 13.
I could have sworn it was 50 to 100.
Well, maybe that was some other article.
All right.
But these are pretty good questions. I'll just run through them real quick. Mm-hmm. And I'll put a link in the show notes for anyone who wants to read it. Did your family throw plates, calmly discuss issues, or silently shut down when disagreements arose? I think that's a good question. Because we sort of mimic the behavior that we learned, right? Unless we're consciously trying to change it. Will we have children? And if we do, will you change diapers? Will our experiences with our exes help or hinder us? How important is religion? And how will we celebrate religious holidays? Is my debt your debt? Would you be willing to bail me out? What's the most you would be willing to spend on a car, a couch, and shoes? Can you deal with my doing things without you? Do we like each other's parents? How important is sex to you? How far should we take flirting with other people? Is watching pornography okay? Do you know all the ways I say I love you? What do you admire about me, and what are your pet peeves? And number 13, how do you see us 10 years from now?
I like that. Like, we took my expectations, we took my past history, and we having the conversation without even being too crazy when it comes to, like you said, pornography. Some people look at it as cheating. Some people feel like it's self-love. So it's one of the things where, you know, as a relationship, we can pick our battles, but it's something that's really bothering you. There's a conversation there. Even with religion, there's a conversation on how you want the kids to be raised. Let's have that kind of vision. So even for me, right, I'm looking into the possibility of, even with the coaching, is officiating weddings.
What's that?
Officiating weddings, being wedding officiant.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And even with that, premarital counseling going to be part of the package. Because it's one thing where we got to see, like you said, how do you argue? Do you break plates? How do those communicate? Let's have these conversations, because yes, marriage is beautiful. We're talking about a honeymoon, but that's the logistics. And have those conversations about how are we going to work as a partnership. And also, as I said, even with dating, like you said, it takes time. to date someone to really know them, because now you got to see when they're upset not about you, or they're upset at work, or how they decompress. How do they manage that stress? We have to watch it. We have to really be honest about what we're looking for, and also in that mate. So we have to give it time to date to see, happy, sad, mad, frustrated, how they deal with it, and does it work with you?
Yeah, the question I really like is, can you deal with my doing things without you? Because, we all know couples where they do everything together. The other one never goes out without the other, which I just think is weird, because my relationship's not like that. And I don't know. I just think it's weird because, like, why you don't lose who you are as an individual just because you're in a relationship.
Yeah, I get front. I do not judge, but I get worried when I see the couple Facebook page.
Oh no, me too. I hate that. Where they have like John and Jane or something. You know what I always think? I always think the woman is crazy jealous and will not let him have a page.
I think that, or somebody cheated.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It is a compromise. Like, we can still be on social media, but now it's a joint effort. And so for me, like, I think that it's good to have your individuality in relationships. But if y'all like it, I tell you all the time, every relationship is like a snowflake. If you like it, I love it. Only time they hit me up when they don't like it. But yeah, that for me, I think that you should be able to be doing things by yourself and have your own friends, and also have something to report and talk about.
Yes.
But some people they attach their hip, and that's why even when divorce or breakups, people start losing who they like. Who am I now?
Yeah.
I was this entity. Now we're not. Like, I don't know who I am anymore, and now trying to reestablish who they are. But yeah, I think it's important.
Especially when I was younger, I guess like more in my 20s, this was more of a thing. But we always had that friend, right? Who every time they had a boyfriend or a girlfriend, like that was it. You never heard from them. They never went out. They just disappeared. They vanished. But then when they would be single again, then all of a sudden they would go out again.
Yeah.
And, I had friends like that. And it's a little different now that everyone's older and married and all that stuff. But I always thought that was a little weird too.
It could be unhealthy, right? So a lot of times they shut down because they want to be tuned with their man, and they shut their friends down. They want distractions, and it's like, I don't know, because once again, even with that, is that something she want to do, or that was one of his requests? Because sometimes a lot of women with them, they like to make another person feel comfortable, and I'm like, you gotta be careful with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get it. If they shut down or they mimic their boyfriend, like, oh, you into sports now? Okay, I got you.
Well, I mean, my boyfriend and I would sometimes, but this might seem weird to other people, but sometimes I'll just be like, sweetie, you're being really annoying. I think it's time for you to go out with your friends. Which is like code for, I need some time alone by myself. Like, you go out with your friends.
Like, that's fine. Like, hey, I love you. Like, that's not, that's not the question. But let me miss you. Let me miss you a little bit, go outside with your boys. It's fine.
Yeah, like we're playful about it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
yeah, definitely. Space is important. So yeah, I definitely understand that. Just like date night, you need to be outside and blow some steam and enjoy yourself and be your individual self. And we can reconvene later.
Yeah. So I'm just curious how you learned all this, though.
I have a lot of women friends growing up. Right, I've always been that. Like I said, I've always been a bridge. Where I'm still a guy. Like, even when I was a quote unquote player, I was still knowing how to navigate both sides and be the bridge. Like, I hear what the guy's saying. He's saying this. It was at a point where guys used to send me to get the girl for them. And I'm like, I'd be saying, yo, he really likes you. And he's just nervous about it. Like, why he don't say that, Chad? I said, I know, but I'm here now. He's nervous, right? So I used to navigate that. Even as a player, I was always honest and transparent. Like, listen, I'm dating multiple women. You're not the only one, but you're uncomfortable. You can leave at any time. So for me, I was always understanding, like you said, we want the same thing. But it's about how to now make sure we're on the same page and how we work together. So the non-verbal stuff you're saying and the verbal things you're saying. And I said that a lot of men, they come up saying men don't communicate. We do a lot. The women just don't want to listen, or that being active and really like, oh, I heard him. He's not really looking for the dating right now. He's trying to have fun. But I like him though. And since I like him, I'm gonna force him to like me.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he said he's having fun right now.
Yeah. So listen a little more. Listen.
Please.
Yeah, just actually like shut your mouth. Whoever's watching, I'm shutting my mouth and actually hear what they're saying.
And like I said, so people, but I like you, so I'm gonna force it. No, really listen to what that person's saying and navigate and move accordingly. And I think for me, life experiences, my own dating experience, listen to other people's stories, me doing reading material, and then even me, like even though I'm a life relationship coach, I still read. Like I still test the waters and see what's out there. Sometimes even on Clubhouse, I just listen to these relationship talks and just do other stuff and just listen. Because for me, I think that it's very important to be, every relationship is different, but also understand patterns. Yeah. And with the patterns and those things, it's like, all right, now when I coach somebody, I understand, like, listen, I understand the way the dating world looks here. If you like this, you don't like this, so why are you still here? But yeah, it was 2 years, it was 3 years. Like, it's funny, I was on an interview and the host was talking about her mentor, have a friend that been with the same guy in a situationship for like 20 years. He's there forever plus one. And I'm like, you 20 years? Like,
well, that they're not married?
They're not in a relationship. They just the situation.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess if they both are truly happy with that.
That's the thing.
But it sounds like one of them wasn't.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Like I said, every relationship is different, but it's when you're not happy, but you're staying because you're scared of the unknown. Now she's 20 years in. So I can imagine how she feel about going back to the dating world.
Yeah. No, man. Oh God. I always say, like, thank God I'm not dating, and my boyfriend and I joke because we've been together a long time. We're not married. Like if we break up, I'm not going to be in any big hurry to go date again. Cause I hear my single friends and like men and women, and we just kind of laugh, at their expense, but we're like, thank right? God. So
it changed even 7 years, like the dating apps and the expectations, and it changed. So you're like, nah, I'm cool here. I don't want to go back. And that's why some people stay. When you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all good, but some people stay in relationship because they're like, that unknown? I'd rather know the devil I know.
Yes, a lot of people say that Jerry Seinfeld has this joke where he says, why would you get divorced when you already know what's wrong with that person? Why would you get divorced and then go marry someone else? You don't know what their things are. That you might get married to the new person and be like, you know what? I want the old person back. Because that was a little easier. And, of course it's a joke, but it kind of sounds like a little truth to that.
It's true. Some people stay because of that. The unknown, or I already know that person ticks. I already know the issues. Me and somebody else could be far worse than what I'm getting now.
Yeah.
That's why it's so good to really believe in you deserve what you want and be advocate of that. And I think that you may be in a relationship that you may not be happy with, but now work on an exit strategy, but also understand what roles you played in. And like I said before, accountability.
Yeah. I like it. I think you should write a book.
I appreciate it. And if I write a book, it would be called It Gotta Make Sense. It's gotta make sense. Like some people force things, they're like, does this really make sense? Some people are like, Chad, I be thinking about you all the time, be thinking God. And back my mom like, it gotta make sense.
It's true, right? It's right there in front of us all. We can see it. We just choose not to. Right? Don't we? It's right there. It's like when you say it. Oh, yeah. That's so obvious. Well, then why didn't you think of it before?
Because they cope in the moment, right?
Yeah.
So it's like that quote they always say, everybody got a plan, they got punched in the face. So you sound good, you know what you want, but now you like this guy. All your logic and your thought out the window. And you want to go in vibes. No. Gotta be 10 toes down. That's why I talk about loving yourself, to be really sure that this is what you want.
Cool. Well, I like it. I like everything you're saying. Tell us how we can coach with you for people that are listening. If they're interested in learning more about you or reaching out to you about coaching, how can they do that?
So social media, Chad Scott Hair, HERE. And now my web email is chad@chadscotthair.com. The website is getting launched soon. I'm finishing up the actual workshop. So the workshop, Negotiate Terrorist workshop, there's going to be a self-esteem, confident booster workshop. Everybody like, love yourself. How I love myself is beyond just face masses. And also one about dating, that you want to go straight to the dating part. Working on that. So yes, that should be third, fourth quarter. But yeah, you definitely hit me up anytime now.
Awesome. I love what you're doing. And I encourage everyone to go to your Instagram page at Chad Scott here, and you have a link tree.
Yes.
So whatever you've got going on at any given time will be on your link tree, right?
Yes.
And I'll have links to everything in the show notes. But this was fun. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate this.
Yeah, of course.